Good afternoon, our viewers. Good evening back in Tanzania. I know it's already night. Welcome to Mimi ni Nani online discussion. It's a very exciting day today. It's a Mandela Day. We're celebrating the legacy of Nelson Mandela. And it's been really great here with the African community as we have been doing different activities and also sharing the knowledge and the life that he lived. So I have interesting guests today. Just gonna speak to them in a while, but let me first introduce the topic that we're going to be discussing about today. It's about entrepreneurship and youth in Africa. So what does it take to run a youth-led business in Africa? So welcome, people. I have Tom Shilongo from Namibia.
Hey guys.
I have Dr. Seno from Nigeria.
Hello.
And I have Euphrem Moussa from Central African Republic.
Hey.
Yeah, so before we go to the topic, I want to just hear their perspective. What does Mandela mean to you? His life, his legacy, just in one sentence, just shortly.
All right. So what Mandela means for me is peace and reconciliation. Living in a world of peace and unity, that's what Mandela Day means for me.
That's very nice, thank you. About you?
Okay, for me, Mandela means persistence, courage, and also positivity. Like having to go through everything that he went through, but coming out of it and not being on the bitter side of things, of life, but being able to still come out a positive person, coming out a better person. I think that's for me is phenomenal.
Thank you.
What Nelson Mandela means to me is integrated, because he has integrated in every part of his life. Another point I would like to emphasize on, in his life, he was a gentleman, you know. And I also want to add a point on decisions, because it takes courage to make positive decisions when around there is trouble, when around there are so many challenges. And I know that many of us out there, we are facing also challenge, and we need to have integrity and courage to take the right decisions.
Very true. And I think we're celebrating him as an extraordinary person, but I just want to say that he was a very ordinary person. It's the decisions that he had to make, and anybody can be an extraordinary person. It's what you decide to do that will make you different from everyone else. So welcome back to our show today. We're talking about youth in Africa. Youth and African businesses. What does it take to run a business? So welcome. Please send in your comments, your questions, and we'll be happy to engage you with our conversation. So let's get started. What is your experience with entrepreneurship? So I know the term entrepreneurship, okay, I don't know what it means to some, but maybe it can look like a complex thing. It's like this arena where, you know, you have to be qualified, a risk taker, you know, you have to have this business knowledge and insights and all that. But when it comes to Africa, I think we are living the life of entrepreneurship. You know, from you see it, you live it, you become it, either consciously or unconsciously, because it's a means of survival. You know, that's how we have thrived through our lives. I remember in my home, my dad had a shop. So he had it was a small room in our house, the front, which, you know, we would sell things. And it was a small shop, but it kept our lives going. And my mom now is doing poultry business. You know, she sells eggs and things like that. And it's what really, you know, makes ends meet. I, at some point, I've had to do some initiative. I've sold shoes, you know, I've sold vitenge, these African fabrics and things like that, you know, to complement, you know, whatever that I was doing, just to add some extra earnings, but also it's about making people happy and things like that. So what about you guys? What do you think, you know, what is your experience with entrepreneurship, you know, being an African young person? So where should we start?
Okay, let me speak from my perspective, or let me speak from my experience, right? Entrepreneurship is like you said, it's the life we live on the daily basis in Africa. We are faced with challenges here and there, and we constantly have to find a way to live through them. So it's like consciously, unconsciously, you are living the life. But when talking about being deliberate about it now, I think the times change. In the days of my parents, for instance, in Nigeria, there were few people who were educated. So you come out of school, you are educated, and then most likely you are automatically offered a job. In fact, you have companies coming to schools to look for students and asking them already to come join them. So it's like, before you leave school, jobs are hustling for you already. But then coming down to this generation, now there are not that much jobs anymore out there. There are people on those jobs, or the jobs that many young people want. So the question now is, would you rather pray for people to die so you get into the office, or you just find how to continue your life and create something?
Yeah, so this time things don't come to us. We have to hunt for them.
You have to hunt for them.
And you have to think more than just one way of doing things, right?
Exactly.
Okay, what about you, Euphrem?
I agree on this fact, but what I wanted for our viewers to note is that entrepreneurship is not actually, it's like you need to have a big company with big structure. Entrepreneurship is only about finding a problem in your area, then trying to come up with a solution, but trying to also make money out of this solution. This is what entrepreneurship is about. And if you approach it from that perspective, you can realize that in Africa, we are entrepreneurs, almost naturally, because as you mentioned in the beginning, it's we try to survive. And the challenges are many. And when there are challenges, where there is a challenge, there is a solution. That's why it's also open up for us, for so many opportunities for young people out there to approach each one of these challenges with a solution, but not only a solution, but also on the business mindset. How can I provide solution here and make money out of it? And I think there are so many challenges out there. There are so many problems there that I think in Africa we can solve. So I want our viewers to take this. I want to emphasize on this perspective.
Yeah, I like that. So we go back to the entrepreneurial mindset. Yeah. So that should be your motive to start a business, to start whatever initiative that you want to have. Where is the problem that I can solve? It's not about starting with having a business, or it's about looking at what surrounds you. Back to you, Tom. What does it take to start a business? What does it take to start out? Because I think a lot of young people, they see the opportunities around them, they want to do something, but perhaps they have myths, or they're scared, or maybe they're afraid of failing, whatever it is that they cannot really do. So what is your perspective? And maybe you can also start by sharing what you do, and then you can go to what it takes to start a business.
All right. So I own a media company. It's actually a consultancy company in media management. And on the subject of entrepreneurship, I just want to highlight that entrepreneurship is something that we've been doing for years. Our grandparents, our parents, they've been doing entrepreneurship. The only challenge that comes is that it wasn't formalized. The formalization, that is the problem. The constant book taking and the structure. I think that is basically what lacked, and that's the reason why most African businesses remain small and do not grow globally, or do not become international, because there's no constant book taking and bookkeeping. As a young African from Namibia, it was very difficult starting a business. Very, very difficult. I mean, there are quite a number of factors that come into play, whether it's social, economic, even political. The political system creating an enabling environment for entrepreneurs to strive in entrepreneurship. So those are the factors that come into play when we are talking about entrepreneurship. And in order for you to overcome those factors, you just have to have the courage, and you have to have courage and the will set, and change your mindset as well.
Exactly.
You know, to a mindset of perseverance. You know, whether whatever factors come into play, you know, you persevere. And I think that's where a lot of young Africans they give up because of all of those factors. You know, yeah.
Thank you. So now you've talked about informal businesses, and I think that is the majority of the businesses that run around in most African countries. I can testify that in my country, whereby it's very costly to formalize a business when you're not sure of your customers, you're not sure of, you know, every other sector. The taxes are crazy high and things like that, you know. So maybe we can have the experience with you guys. Have you ever had an experience where, you know, do you have initiatives that maybe they're not formal or they're formalized? What could be the challenges that you have had to face, you know, in having that happening? And maybe why do you think it's difficult to formalize for your countries as well?
If I want, I can answer to that question. Is like, it's a good thing you mentioned, like your dad had a shop and stuff like that, because it's happened that at times ago I also had a shop, which I closed it down, but I learned a lot out of it, like the challenges, like, you know. But in today's, I'm running an organization which I created. Is more like to provide training to underprivileged people for them to like approach towards making as a business mindset. But the first difficulty we faced whilst trying to set up this organization was like the administrative procedures. In my country, I'm from Central African Republic, and the administrative procedures are very huge and very, very, very slow. Like it took us like almost 1.5 months to get the organization registered, and this could be like some of the challenges we are facing. But the good thing is that today we have the company registered. Today we have the skills to keep on doing what we are doing. But I also want to emphasize on the passion, because today we have the passion to keep doing what we are doing. You know, they say that passion keeps you going.
Yes.
Because if you don't have the passion, you're not passionate about what you are doing, no matter what business you are doing, if you are not passionate about it, you're not gonna succeed. Once you face the first difficulty, you're just gonna, you know, you're just gonna close up. Once you face, you know, the second difficulty, you're not gonna stand it. So the first thing is like you find your motive. When you want to open a restaurant, don't start like by saying like, I'm just want to have the big structure today. I want to have a McDonald's today. This is not how we should go about like entrepreneurship. You want to start a restaurant, start cooking at home. You know, start doing like food delivery. Start something like that, and out of it you see if you can get some customers, and those customers can go around and communicate about your organization, and that's how you can also come to a point where people can trust you, people can invest in your business, and that's how you can go to become have a bigger structure. Right? So this is it. Like then you find it, but you should also being like very, very passionate about you doing. Find the solution, find the problem, and come with a solution, and make sure that you are very passionate about what you are doing, and you have the courage to keep going despite the difficulty. No matter what happens, you just keep going on it and try to find solution around it.
Yeah. That's very true.
True.
You want to add, what about the support system? I think we need to encourage, you know, ourselves and young people. It's not easy running a business, and sometimes for real you're going to feel like you know, you want to give up, or maybe things are not happening, you close the business. At some point, I had to stop the shoes business I was doing, you know, and look at other. I think we could have such experiences where you stop one thing or you pause for a moment, like operations, you know, and you have to find another, you know, another strength, another whatever. So what has been your support system, or what do you think could be, you know, something that could support you at some point when you feel like, you know, things are not moving? Maybe Dr. Seno, you can talk about that. Okay,
I'll start from where he left off. The fact that passion really is something that must be present in entrepreneurship. And I would also go back a little to what we just learned yesterday, something I learned yesterday that I quite loved. The fact that entrepreneurship could be related to pregnancy. A woman who is pregnant will definitely go through pains. Will definitely go through moments when she just feels like this child should come out already, or I'm going to say no. But then she goes through the 9 months. Whatever it is that comes, she just goes through the 9 months. And when she goes through those 9 months, more often than not, she comes out of it with a child. And then many times, just seeing the child alone now brings the joy and completely raises the 9 months. And so, like the woman who taught us that yesterday was saying, as an entrepreneur, when you have challenges, the best thing you should tell yourself is, the child is growing.
The child is growing.
The child is growing.
Yeah. So yes. So what is your what supports you when you feel like, okay, apart from saying that, are there people or things, or what keeps you going?
One other thing I learned recently is the fact that, I'll quote someone I heard it from, said collaboration is the new competition. So like the days when we were thinking competition mindsets is far apart now. Those were days when it was better to just do things by yourself. But now, these are days now that we need to collaborate. We need to have a support system. We need to be able to belong to ecosystems of support, of entrepreneurship, people who believe in like-minded things, people who are doing stuff similar to you, or people who can help you grow. All of that. We need a support system. You could have mentors, you could have friends, you could have other people that once in a while you could get to relate to. You could have people who you look up to, that you read their books, that you watch their materials to grow. But one way or the other, you just can't be an island in the field of entrepreneurship. You have to have a support system.
That's true. I think I have an example of that. There's a time in my organization, things were not like happening the way I wanted, and I was really getting, you know, like it was eating up on me, and I was stuck and so withdrawn. And at some point, my team member just out of nowhere just came to me and said, there is this book I want you to read. And she sent me, it was a PDF, it's The Who Moved My Cheese. And I read that book, it completely, you know, just changed me. It's like, it was a whole transformation. It energized me, and that was a moment when I was dealing with change and managing change. Like it completely helped me understand and see things, and really moved me to the next stage. So it's those moments, you know, when you come across a good book or a person that you can talk to, a mentor and things like that. And I think also family can be very strong support, you know, when they know what you're going through, and sometimes they're just there to cheer you up and things like that. Definitely. So yeah, welcome our viewers. I see you're joining in this conversation. So we're talking about youth and African business. What does it take to establish, to survive and sustain a business in Africa? So what are the challenges, opportunities, and things like that? You can put in your comment, and we'll be happy to read any questions that you have, and we'll be happy to respond them to you. I'm your host, Falecia Massacky, and I have Tom from Namibia, I have Dr. Seno from Nigeria, and I have Moussa from Central African Republic, CAR. So Tom, I want you to maybe share your insights about, you mentioned about collaboration is the new competition. And I know you know, when we come up with these entrepreneurial ideas, sometimes we want to run them quickly, you know, want to hide, or maybe it's about the sense of ownership, you know, this is my thing. And now versus to let's work together, let's collaborate, you know, moving away from the competition and things like that. So what does it take to find, you know, right people to collaborate with, maybe the team that you need to work with? There can be challenges sometimes, I think, because you might be so much at this level and now finding someone that you can work with at that level, you know, a lot of challenges. So maybe we can have your insights and what does it take, or what did it take to have the people maybe you're working with and things like that, your insights, if you have any experience.
Definitely, I would say that you know, collaboration is key. You know, a lot of times you find entrepreneurs, when they think that they have a new idea. For me, I feel like there is no new idea now. There is nothing new under the sun.
True.
We are at a phase of improving old ideas that have already been found. So a lot of people would a lot of people would you know, definitely get like a, you know, a new idea, and or not a new idea, but they'll feel like they have a new idea and they want to keep it to themselves. They want to build it alone. But at times, collaborating with someone that is in that industry that you want to venture into, I think it's best, or it's key, because they already have the experience. They have the know-how. They basically have, you know, the different steps and all of that, you know, because, I mean, they've been in business. Sometimes they've been in business already, so they already have the experience, you know. And so for you to kind of, you know, want to do it alone means that you are, you know, slowing yourself down, because there are obstacles that they are aware of. And you still have to face those obstacles. You don't know how to and stuff like that. So definitely, as young Africans, do try to collaborate with other young Africans. Try to empower one another. When you come up with a business idea, I understand that you feel, you know, sometimes you feel entitled. You want to keep the idea to yourself. But entitlement won't get you anywhere. And even when you are in your business, your business will get to a point where it's no longer just your business anymore. It becomes now your business. It becomes your employees' business, and it becomes your kids' business, your wife's business. You know, sometimes it grows beyond you, and basically, you know, you can't always want to run something alone, because, you know, it just reminds me about your uncle's shop when it closed down. You know, there are different scenarios. Like, my uncle had a very successful construction business, but once he passed, may his soul rest in peace, the business closed down. And that's what we're talking about. You know, you need to try and collaborate with other people so that, you know, the legacy continues, irregardless of whether you're alive or not.
Exactly. Okay, so maybe let me hear from you guys. Just tell me two things that you're looking for when you're looking to collaborate or working in a team. What are the two things you're looking for, and maybe what is two challenges that you've faced? Just shortly.
Two things I'm looking for when I want to collaborate is a person whom I would like to collaborate with is also passionate. You know, because your surrounding can also destroy you. It can also be, you know, an obstacle in your way. Because if you surround yourself with people who don't trust you, who just try to like deviate you on the way, on the vision you have set for yourself, then you are surrounded by the wrong people. And the first thing to do is to get rid of those people. If you want to be in business, try to surround yourself with people who are also into business. You know, there's a thing in Africa, is like, we can start a business, but then, like, after a short period of time, when we start receiving some money out of this business, we think that we've made it through already.
Exactly.
And then we go on like spending the money, going to club, spending on clothes, spending on so many other things. And we lose control, we lose track. So you surround yourself with the right person in the business. And second thing, you get people that can urge you to grow your business, that can connect you to other people, that can give you ideas, that can also, if possible, invest in your money in your business.
That's really
And
good.
then some of the challenge we usually face is like, this is one of the challenge. You think like, if I share my business idea to someone, the person is going to take this business away and then try to do it on his own. No, it's just like you did not, and it goes back to choosing the right person. If you choose the right person, it will not take your idea away. And then also there are some other challenges whereby sometimes your relatives, your surroundings will be telling you stuff like, do you think you can do it? You are not able to do it. There's not anything that you've done good in your life, and now you say that you want to set up a company.
Exactly.
I'm very touched where in my country, and I know back home there are so many people being at the roadside, the roadside and selling credit, airtime. Those people, they spend the whole day under the sun selling airtime. This to me is entrepreneurship.
Yes, that's true.
But then those people, most of the time, they will be neglected by other people saying that these are like, these are people who cannot succeed in life. They don't have anything to do. That's why they spend their time. They are wasting their time under the sun.
And actually, you find those earn even more than
Exactly.
the person who works in the white collar job.
Yes.
Need that now. What you need is to you should try your best not to listen to those people, like those wrong comments you're receiving. Get people that can help you grow. Like from selling airtime here, you can open actually a shop for that. You can actually start selling phones. You can actually start doing so many things. So first, you should stop listening to other people, wrong comments by people, and you get yourself surrounded by the right people that can help you grow your business.
Definitely.
Okay. So, you want to add something to that?
Okay, well, what I'd love to add to that is the fact that it's also, first of all, you need to know who you are. You need to know what your values for. You need to know what your values for the work, for your business, for your entrepreneurship drive, and all of that is. And then when you know all of that, you need to know what your values even for your customers are. When you know all of these things, then the next thing to do basically would be to find someone who you believe shares these values. Someone who has similar core values to you. Someone who believes in your dream, in your vision. Someone who is ready to go the whole 9 yards with you. And if you find someone who shares in your dreams, someone who has similar values to you, you're much more likely to go together on the journey.
Okay, thank you very much. So I know some viewers could be watching this and maybe think that, business or entrepreneurship is for a certain stage in life. Maybe after I've accomplished my education or something. Some people start business when they have retired and things like that, So maybe we can have your perspective. When do you think is the right age or is the right stage to start a business or to be entrepreneurial? If I can hear from you guys. Tom, maybe you can start. Maybe when do you think you were ready for entrepreneurship? When do you think, was it after college or, and when is the appropriate time,
Yeah. I would definitely say that entrepreneurship, like when you are ready to venture into entrepreneurship, has its own time. And usually there are circumstances that lead you to start or to go into entrepreneurship. Sometimes it's inherent. There are a number of courses, but Definitely what I can say is that entrepreneurship should be something that should be taught in school from, the very basics. When kids go in school, entrepreneurship should be a subject matter, and it should not just be left to, later on. For me, I dived into entrepreneurship after I graduated. I realized that working an 8 to 5 for the company that I was working in wasn't my thing, and I had a passion for something else. So that's when I then decided to go into that direction of entrepreneurship and starting something for myself that feeds my passion. A lot of the times people will experience it at different stages. Some people would experience the whole entrepreneurship mindset when they are facing a struggle. They can't find jobs, so they will be like, what, I have talents. Let me utilize my talents and let me see what I can gain from it. Others, it's inherent. You find that your father has this company. They start working in that company, especially. I don't want to say it, but that's mostly the white privilege, where some of them don't even go to university. I mean, from high school, they just go straight into parents' company and they work in there, they gain experience and they take over the company. But it's much difficult for the black African child, because you're faced with issues such as black tax and so forth. So basically from my side, it depends.
It depends.
Yeah, it depends.
Okay. Your views, guys?
I will also say that it depends in such a ways that, as I mentioned in the beginning, is that it's only about finding your motives. Right? And then these motives can be like your parents sometimes also struggling into life. When you are from a family where you can clearly see that your parents are struggling, that they don't have means to support you, to support your little brothers or little sister, your siblings, then this could be a motive for you to start entrepreneurship. And also it could be like, as Tom mentioned, sometimes it's just that you can have the certificate. You can you've gone to school, you have the certificate, but there's no job. And this is unfortunately some of the situation we are facing in Africa. There's no job for all of us. So this could be also a motive, for you to start, maybe instead of just spending my time looking for a job a whole day, let me do both. Let me look for a job, or let me start, venture into entrepreneurship, or let me just venture into entrepreneurship and then try to go out of it. We have stories of so many people in Africa who have made it in life, who have succeeded, not from being at school, but from just starting venturing into entrepreneurship activities from the very young age. And I also like the idea is that even though entrepreneurship cannot be something most especially for us in Africa, it cannot be something, okay, you go to school, then after school graduation, then you start entrepreneur, the venture. It cannot be something like that. But still, it's very important that we can, these kids could be taught to kids at school, because the education system in Africa, from a French-speaking countries, the education system is in such a way that the only thing we are taught is about history of other countries, the European countries, and after school we are also encouraged to just look for a job. This is, to me, in my opinion, it's wrong. We should teach those kids what it takes, what is that they can use when they go up to face challenge and to provide solutions to challenge. Because, as I said again in the beginning, entrepreneurship is about finding solutions to challenge, to problems. So just to empower kids with what it takes for them to, after school or after graduation or in any stage in your life, to start facing challenge, but also to make a living, to make money out of providing solution to those challenges.
Yeah, so I think it all comes back to the mindset, right? It's the lifestyle. So it's how we train the kids. It's not about the thing itself, but it's the process. It's the exposure. Do we take the kids through the problem solving atmosphere where they can actually ask questions, they can be more curious and things like that. That's how they actually seek for solutions and they seek for opportunities to challenges. So it's a whole process whereby they should start early, I think, and I think even in this we see it in the Western cultures and things like that, where they have platforms, for kids to actually be entrepreneurial. They have talents, you find a 9-year-old, 8-year-old is so eloquent, they do amazing things. They have special academies and things like that, whereby I think for African countries, okay, we are going there, but the pace is quite small. And I'll give an example. Like I with Mimi in Nani sessions and classes where we work with young people from 12-year-old and above, and you find we discover, because it's a platform where we let them showcase their talents and their strengths, and you find someone will be this artist. Maybe they can dance very well, maybe they can do they can draw, and then they'll tell you that my dad does not want me to draw. He wants me to pursue a different, course. Someone who would be doing like this hip hop and stuff like that. So you will be very doing it very, very well. But it's only they're hiding, and they'll say if my parents saw me doing this, they'll ground me.
Exactly.
And so it's sad, because I think it's in doing different things that make you really happy. You guys have talked about talents, about doing things you're passionate about. It's where you really find your niche, you really find what you're good at, and it's that part that really helps you to make business out of it. So I don't know how that can be worked on, and it's a challenge. Dr. Seno, you want to say something about that?
Yes, I would start by talking about what you just said, the influence of environment. The environment I'm talking of now can start from as little as home, as the first unit of the environment, which is our family. In my country, for instance, most parents still believe in the fact that you go to school, you're going to school first of all is to get an education, to graduate, to get a job. And they believe that if you get a job, then it's a whole lot better because there are job securities, especially if it's a government job. So most parents still go with the idea that a child should grow up to be a doctor, a lawyer, that they feel like they have certain paths set for the child that the child must grow into, not knowing that, or not remembering the fact that this is an individual being. This is a being that has a life of his or her own, that has tendencies and things that they love. And myself as an example, for instance, my parents wanted me to go to school, become a doctor, graduate, and get a job. Well, I graduated. My parents since then had worried me a number of times, go get a job. I didn't. At some point, I followed them to go somewhere where they had to take me to go apply for a job. If I sat down waiting for that process till now, maybe for the past 8 years of my life, I would have been. I don't know where I would have been. But then I decided to step up and take things into my hands and do what I loved. Which my parents also till today never really approved of.
That's true.
It's until when you're recognized, you're on the magazine and things like that.
That's maybe that's the point when they'll be like, okay, well, yes.
You're doing good.
That's my son.
But I love the fact that you mentioned talent. Because talent could also be a motive to start business. One of the things we learned yesterday, during our session, is that what is the easiest thing for you?
Yes.
Right? If the easiest thing for you is to sing, if the easiest things to you for you is to like anti-craft or stuff like that, if the easiest things for you is to say, is to talk to people, then you can ask yourself, how can I make money out of it?
That's right.
And this also could be a motive for you to venture into entrepreneurship.
And what you're saying is very important. I think nowadays we have trends of businesses. Everyone just starts something because somebody else starts something. You find a collection of things. You get into Instagram and all these kind of platforms where like a whole chain of youth-led businesses doing exactly the same thing. No innovation, nothing. And I wonder, is it their area of really excellence, or what? I don't know. What could you say about that? I mean, really,
I think
relating to
from my side, what I can say is definitely yes, there are people that start up businesses because they see their friend started up a business in this sector and he's making this amount of money, but the defining factor is the passion. And it all boils down to, even when you have a business idea and someone's stealing your business idea. Someone may steal your business idea, but they just took it from you. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have a passion for it. And because you have a passion for your business idea, that's why you are driving your business to success. Once they encounter obstacles here and there, most of them, trust me, most of them decide, you know what, this is not for me. And they stop right there. Just one obstacle, they're like, whoa, okay, this is not what I anticipated. You understand? So it all boils down to, having a passion for whatever business or whatever idea you have. You can't just, start up a business today and you don't have a passion for it. Because once you encounter that first obstacle, trust me, you will decide, I'm not going any further than this. Yeah.
That's true. So maybe a takeaway for this is, what is it that you can easily do? And it's not about, what is easier to do, but what you can do easily. And it's not about what everyone is doing. Exactly. And sometimes we fail to look deep inside, our careers, our jobs. He's a doctor. He's a vet doctor, right? And I like that he's into pets business. So he's within his area of expertise and whatever, he could find his love, his passion, the dogs and everything,
Definitely.
I am a teacher. My gift is teaching and communicating. So I work, Mimi Nani initiative and everything. It's about doing what I do best. And I think that's what we fail to do. Like, you can be in any sector, any industry, but the ability to see now, where do you thrive? It's not because it's not just about because flower business is good, then we should all jump into flowers, or we should all go to farm and things like that. I think that is something that we go to quick money, to things like that, and then at the end of the day you find that I didn't make money as they said. I think we need to really change that.
I think one thing, many times we start the wrong way. I'll tell we start the wrong way because in today's society, many people are more drawn to entrepreneurship by listening to what's out there rather than listening to what's in here.
That's true.
That is true.
So that's why you find many people doing the same thing for the wrong reasons or for no sensible reason. And like he said, and that's why we keep flogging on the issue of passion, because passion is the one thing that keeps you all the whole 9 yards, the whole 9 months. If you don't have the passion, the challenges must come. It's not an option. The challenges must come, but if the challenges do come, and it's something that you are passionate about, if it's something you are wired for, you will definitely stay and grow through the challenges. But when many people, like it's done today, start off by seeing someone successful at something and wanting to go into it. One thing I learned from the book, The Lean Startup, is the fact that there cannot be another Mark Zuckerberg doing what he does.
That's true.
There cannot be another Mimi Nani doing what you do. There can never be another anybody else. So it's good to be motivated by someone, yes. but it's wrong to follow the person's line or to the person's path because you are motivated by the person. It's if you are motivated to do what you love, and what you love is in synchrony with what someone else does, you can now look up to the person. But starting from the perspective of this person is making a lot of money with this person is really successful with this, at the end of the day, it's as good as you are playing second fiddle.
That's very true.
You know, I would like to add to that is that the passion could be there, okay? I mean, to me, in my opinion, it's not a problem if like everyone is doing the same thing. It's not a problem.
Yep.
But the missing element is vision. Lack of vision also kills our businesses.
100%.
You can have the
That's
passion,
right.
you can start the business. But if you don't have a vision and if you don't have plan to grow, you will never make it out of or like hundreds of those people doing the same thing with you.
That's true.
There is not one restaurant in an area. There are always a lot of restaurants. Yes, there are always a lot of companies doing the same thing. But what makes a difference is vision. And then with vision, you come up with a plan for growth, like kind of like what is my competitive advantage?
Yeah.
What can I do best than this one is not able to do? Then out of it, you try to ask yourself, to question yourself, what am I missing? Is that skills? Is it like, come up with a proper vision and set a very, very high vision, which now you can like assess yourself, assess your capacity, your competence, what you need. Is that network you need? Is it more money you need? Is it like more relationship or anything that you need to make your business grow? So you have this vision with a plan for growth. There's something is like, as kid, as a child, like a small kid, I was very impressed by the people who make in my country. There are a lot. You can see them like a line on the roadside, on the street. They're making using bamboo to make furniture. So they have different type of furniture made from bamboo. Like you have the tables, we have the table set, we have a bed, and stuff like that. And I was very impressed. But today, as an adult, I keep on looking at those people at the same place.
The same place and same, yeah.
And selling the same products. Exactly. And I was like, what is going on? After all these years, they never improved. Like you do this bed, you make this bed today, this table set. Try to think out of the box. See how you can make this table in a different way. And then you can attract customers. You can attract potential customers. And that can make your business grow. Among all the others, like other people who are doing the same thing like as you on the street. Just because some people content themselves with what they are doing. Our parents have been doing it. We say that at the beginning. Our parents have been they are into entrepreneurship. But the only thing is that it's a kind of entrepreneurship to survive.
Yeah.
There is no any plan for growth as far as I'm making $10 benefit. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
You should think out of the box. You should have a vision to instead of getting $20 benefit, let me have $100 or $100,000. I can do that. Right. And if you set that vision, you assess yourself, what do I need to get to that $100,000 benefit? And then you put in place plan to get to that objective, to that vision. That's what I wanted to add on it here.
Thank you, Moussa. I think that's a very important point, and especially now the world is changing. We can't still operate like our grandparents and our parents here. We need to think beyond that. We need to have businesses that are growing, that are thriving. And, African has been looked at as consumers for so long. And even our businesses that, we have created have been just for consuming, but we need to change that. We need to start, being producers and actually look at other markets, like other countries as markets as well as consumers. So we need to really transform from that. So our viewers, Welcome again. Thank you for joining us. Someone is commenting, Bastien, today's discussion is very, very nice. Thank you, Mimi Nani, for bringing the exposure to us. Brilliant minds. Yeah, thank you. So we're talking about Africa, youth and entrepreneurship. What does it take for a young person to run a business? And it's been a very interesting discussion here with my host. I have Tom from Namibia, Dr. Seno from Nigeria, and Euphrem from CAR. And it's very interesting because as much as we look at entrepreneurship as a very tough concept, it's been broken down to actually to what anybody can be and what anybody can do. And it's all about what's within you. It's about your mindset. It's about being passionate. So it's more about, you know, your strengths, ability, and your character. With that, regardless of the challenges, and it's perceived that, you know, these challenges are common and sometimes they might take time to break through, but you must keep going and doing what you can do. So we are almost coming to an end of our discussion, but I would like for us to just touch a little bit on the, you know, the professionalism of entrepreneurship, because I know as much as we say don't give up, just start and things like that, you know, people now already started, people are thinking about having a vision, which is a very good as part of professionalism and things like that. So what now does it take for someone really to have a business, you know, that, you know, is more professional but actually has the potential to scale and grow? You know, what discipline does it take? What are the key elements that, you know, you think are very important for someone to really stay on the course? So just your insights on that and maybe your experience, and the fact that, you know, you're the Mandela Fellows on this program, and I believe one of the reasons for this program is basically to get us exposed with each other, learn from each other, and even the best way of doing business from US and things like that, which will really help us to be more professionals, but also work with each other, you know, just look beyond our local boundaries and start thinking about partnerships that we can create and perhaps, you know, do business together across countries and things like that to make our continent better. So what are your ideas? What can you encourage to viewers and anyone who could be, you know, following up this conversation? What does it take to move to more professional, sustainable business? Anything that can come to your mind?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like what Moussa said. Vision is important for scaling your business. You should have the right vision. But also most importantly is knowing who you are, knowing your character strengths, knowing where you lack, where you can grow. Because knowing this is kind of like a way for you to assess yourself in terms of your business. Where your business could have been if you were this kind of person, and so forth. You know, we tend to have, you know, different character strengths, and those things, those little things impact your business. Trust me, they impact the way your business is. So I mean, like me, I'm not a structural person, and you know, so my business has been suffering structurally. So, you know, and this is what I've learned from the Mandela Washington Fellowship. You need to get, for me, I need to get a structural person on board, you know, so that I can scale my business, and my business can then become visionable, you know, have a vision and so forth. So, you know, it's quite a number of things that come into play. I think what I would tell the young Africans out there that are into entrepreneurship, I would tell them that please know who you are, know your strengths, know your weaknesses. Where you are weak, get someone that is strong there, so that you guys can then grow your business in a profound way.
Yes. Thank you. I like the fact that he talked about the challenges. And I'm just before we go to the two of you, I also want to say one of my challenges and something that I really need to work on. It's on networking. So I'm a person who is mostly introverted. Okay, once you get to know me a little bit more, I can be a little extroverted. So it's hard for me to really reach out to new networks and build partnerships just because of my personality. But I know it's very important for my business. So that is something that I'm really working on. And I think it's very key to any business that you're doing. You need to network with your clients, with your customers. You need to get feedback from them. You need to engage them. And the more proactive you are, the more you're most likely to build businesses. And I think, that starts from you and cultivating that. Go to events, seminars,
Very important.
conferences,
Very important.
apply, and just be there. Don't slack. Don't stay down or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just as he said, where you can't really do that very well, find somebody who can take you along. You can just even hire somebody who is really good with talking and building partnerships, and have that person to really reach out and be more of the face to the company and things like that. But you really need to build networks and new relationships that will help you see opportunities and actually make more business. Yeah. So
Okay, I'd love to add to that. But first, let me say this. We've said a number of things here tonight.
yeah.
And the truth is, it's not just any one of those things that is needed for entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
It's actually the mix of all
All
those
of them.
things.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can't cook a pot of rice, for instance, and
Jollof
the
rice.
rice comes out. Thank you, jollof rice. You can't cook a pot of rice. Okay, let me go by my Nigerian roots. So you can't cook a pot of jollof rice, for instance, and it comes out really nice because of the name rice. You still need to put salt. You still need to put water. You still need to put a whole lot of other stuff.
That's right.
It's a combination.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
entrepreneurship is more or less the same thing. You need to get all the right ingredients. Otherwise, one ingredient lacking alone could just take you down the drain.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Just one ingredient alone missing could take you down the drain. So now let me come to what I want to talk about. In addition to what he said, I also want to talk about delayed gratification. I'd want to add that to what he said earlier,
Yeah.
talking about the fact that many people never grow. They spend 10, 20 years doing the same business. You will find that these people, if they really just took the time to delay gratification, if they took the time to say, okay, what I want to do is, they forecast, they have a vision, this is where I want to go to, I'm doing this right now, then they could just in a matter of years get to that dream. If that dream is something lofty enough and something that they could also get to attain to. They could already make some money from what they're doing now, keep that aside. Delayed gratification just means you are not just living for the now. You are living for that future. You have a future in mind and you are living for that future.
Yes.
Because you find that many of these people at some point will make some good money, but will go around spending it. To have fun, to just live life, to, you know how they say, you only live once. But then, you only live once to also get to that future. You can't get to live that thing you've spent the last 10 years doing if you don't have a plan and if you don't get to delay gratification to get there. If you don't get to at some point suffer because you have money but it's kept aside, if you don't get to find how to register the company, if you don't get to find how to get the right people on board, if you don't get to do all of these things, and all of these things come if you delay gratification and if you have a goal that you are looking onto.
That's right.
So set a goal. Do what you're doing right now, no matter how little it is, no matter how degrading it may seem to you. Some people feel doing the small stuff may be degrading, which is another thing that crumples us also as Africans. You may feel, oh, I have a degree, I'm a master's degree holder, I'm a bachelor's degree holder. Why should I go do this little thing, this small stuff? Well, you can do the small stuff and delay gratification. Whatever you're getting from the small stuff, you can have it kept aside. And then looking for how to use that to grow to go into the big thing that you may actually want to do.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah.
Euphrem.
I would like to add to that on asking a question. To me, being professional in a way where you have already started business, you are already into business. To me, is about answering this question, like, what do you spend your time doing? And how do you spend your life? How do you spend your time? You know, because these are the important questions that we should ask ourselves, or you should ask yourself. because it's about when you ask yourself, what do I spend my time doing? It's about, am I doing the right thing to get to that, vision I want for my company? And if you think that you are not doing the right thing, now start doing the right thing. The right thing can be like living a daily life in such a way that you are no more in this present life, but you envision yourself into the life of this successful entrepreneur which you think you are already. Because if you want, like, let's say you are a taxi driver, try to drive your taxi, dress properly, just an instance, make a difference, I cannot be dressing out like any taxi drivers at all. Let me dress like professionally.
Yeah.
Let me keep my taxi clean. Let me do this, let me do that. That's what I've asked that question. What do you spend your time doing? You should spend your time asking yourself questions, and then try to identify what is missing, what is that you need to take the vision to achieve that goal you have. So that's what I wanted to add on this. And I think, to me, this is the only way for us to this is, to me, the only way for success. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was a great conversation. I feel like we need to have a part 2 of this. So thank you very much, our viewers, for following on this great conversation. We've been talking about youth and business in Africa. What does it take to start, run, and sustain a business in Africa? And we have had an interesting guest here, Tom from Namibia, Dr. Seno from Nigeria, and Moussa from CAR. And I'm your host, Falecia Massacky. Please, we'll be uploading this on YouTube. You can also watch the Instagram live for the next 24 hours. Please keep sending on your inputs and comments, and we'll be happy to respond to them. Till next week, see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.